Well, it is chapter 44 that we're on today. 44. This is World's Longest Suicide Note. I am the suicidal person. And today, almost forgot. Even though that is the case, I am not in any way a professional in this area. So, and the area I'm talking about is mental health, suicide, that whole thing. I am not a licensed professional. That may be shocking to you. Sometimes it's shocking to me, but there it is. So, we're going to start talking. And there's something that I definitely want to talk about. So, let's just get right into it. And the thing I really want to talk about is the word should. Should. You ever have, come across some words that just don't feel like that should be a word? Should be a word. And one is should. 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 I think it should be spelled SHUD. Should. So it's never really made sense to me. But the whole idea of the word itself should just never be. And that's the thing. As soon as I start talking about this, you just imagine how many times you use it. But still, we need to get rid of it. We need to get rid of it. Instead of we should get rid of it. We need to get rid of it. The word should is a horrible word. And we're going to talk about that for a minute. And then, again, how it relates to, and I think it really relates to mental illness, suicide, all of the above. Okay, and when I say we need to get rid of it, we need to get rid of it for conversations with other people and conversations with ourselves. We just need to not use it. And let's just kind of dive into that. The biggest problem with the word should is it comes from a place of judgment. And so, and I'm kind of triggering myself here a little bit because my mind's going back over all the times in my life that I have been shoulded on, where it's like, you should do this, you should be happy, you have food and a shelter and a vehicle, and you've got a good personality, so you should be happy. Or so many people have it so much worse than you. You should be more grateful. You should be this, you should be that. And every time you just want to reach through their chest and pull out their beating heart and show it to them, and the look on their face be like, and when you do that to yourself, it's kind of the same thing. I kind of want to, because what they're saying is, I know how you should be living. I know how you should be feeling. I know how you should be acting. And it's not how you're doing it. So yes, that's and I'm sure everyone has stories from people, and they may have been well-meaning folk who did that. I'm not saying that the people who shoulded you knew they were shooting you or had rationalization that maybe I shouldn't do that. But it happens, and it happens, all the time, and we just need to be aware of it, because it's not helpful. And what I mean by that is it doesn't serve. There really isn't a should. Like Yoda says, but it's not about should. It's about there is no try. There's just do or not do, or do, or don't. There is no try. There is do or no do. What is that? All right. Hang on, I gotta check this out. Because that's gonna drive me crazy. I'm just gonna say, do a quick Google and get the correct one, because I think this is important. Okay. It says, do or not do. There is no try. That's what he said. So that's like from Google. So, that being said, there is no, and it should be, there is no should. There is no should. You're either going to do something or you're not going to do something. Saying you should is something that, serves little purpose. And so, there you go. That being said, you know that that's just something that we need to avoid at all costs. And the reason is because it's again coming from a place of judgment, and somebody is putting it out to the universe that they have an idea of why it is you're not doing what they think you should be doing. And we do that to ourselves. I should have done this. I should have done that. We need to learn. Learning is something that we do on purpose, and sometimes just by living, we're learning as we go. And sometimes those lessons are hard, and so I don't want to discount the fact that okay, we went through something, and we're going to say, okay, the next, I should have done this in this instance, but I didn't. So as if I'm learning from my mistakes, which I absolutely need to do, you could say, okay, I should have done this, and I will remember that the next time that this situation presents itself. So, but it's how we're going back to how do we talk to ourselves, and we should ourselves. Let's just say that right now. We should learn. We need to learn from the things that we do. And so that's a positive thing. But to sit there and dwell on mistakes, we should have done this, we should have done that. That serves no purpose other than to enhance the regret we may be feeling based on whatever it is that we are going through. And living with guilt, it adds to the burden that we feel all the time, and that's not helpful. So while learning from mistakes is essential, or learning from anything, it doesn't have to be mistakes. I mean, you're going to learn as you go through. Doesn't have to. You don't have to trigger it by having made a mistake. You could just learn something. Oh, I didn't know that. Now I do. And I will carry that forward the next time. So it's very important. It's very important that we do that. But when it comes to suicide, so sometimes those shoulds get a little out of hand. And there's people who are pretty footloose and fancy free with the use of the shoulds, thinking that that's going to make an impact. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't. It just serves to, no shit, I should have done this. That's obvious. So the whole idea is to be gentle with ourselves and with others. So there's always better words to use than the should, because we've all been at that place where we're talking to that one person who just knows how we should live our lives, and they're an expert at that. Now, a lot of times it does come from a place of love and wanting to help. So, I always take it with a grain of salt. They love me, and so they want to, make sure that I know how they feel about it. It doesn't really make it more palatable to go through something like that. But I understand, because, they do, they care about me, and so it's taken with a grain of salt. I don't know what that means, a grain of salt, but because I've always wondered, take it with a grain of salt. Like, a grain of salt is not a lot. Have you ever picked up a grain of salt, and it's tiny? Take it, and it's not going to do anything for me. One grain of salt is not going to season anything. So take it with a bunch of grains of salt. And I'm assuming because you add it to something to flavor it up. The train wants to derail. The train's begging to derail, and I just keep falling for it with the things I say. I should not do that. The irony. So getting rid of should is I think very important. I think it's very important for relationships. I think it's because we do that a lot to people who are closest to us. We like to should them. And at the end of the day, it's just a word that doesn't promote partnership. It doesn't really promote a healthy relationship. It's like master and apprentice situation, and that's not how things are. We are in charge of our own beings, our own destiny, and when somebody shoulds us, it makes us feel like they are in control of that, and they're not. Just like we're not in control of anyone else. So for us to say, oh, you should do something. You should not kill yourself. That, but how else can I say that? That doesn't come from a place where there's judgment, or I know better than you, like I have a plan and you don't, kind of situation. It serves really no purpose. So I do it. I'm not immune to it. You know what you should do? What should I do? Please tell me how to live my life. It's counterproductive. So it's something that when I go into talking with somebody, I have to be really aware that I don't use that word, because it does. It's a momentum killer. It changes the direction of a conversation. And I don't want to do that. And I don't want to come across like you should do anything I tell you to do, because I don't have the upper hand. I don't have the ideas. I'm not in charge of anyone else. I am having enough problem being in charge of my life, let alone somebody else's. So I never want to come across that that's the person I am, or the way I feel, because it's not. So, yeah, getting rid of that word as soon as possible is going to pay dividends of some kind at some point down the road. But you're not going to be defined by that. You're defined by what you do, and your actions, and who you are, and ultimately you're in control. So allowing somebody to should on you is you don't want to give that power to anybody. That's yours, and you shouldn't even use it on yourself, because there's no should leads to regret. It means, I should regret something. No. If you went through something and you failed, or you did it wrong, you learn and you move forward. You don't want to dwell on that. There shouldn't be a question mark. There shouldn't be, what if I did this or that? I should have done this. I should have done that. You learn from what happened, and you apply it in your life, and you move forward. You don't live by the shoulds, because that will lead to worse thinking about yourself. And I need you focused on the future, not about the past. We carry the future with us. I always say it's like we're driving a car through space and time. And while we're doing that, we need to be aware. When you're looking at the mirrors, you're checking check that rear view mirror, check the side mirrors. That's all. The checking the mirrors is about what's behind you, to be aware of that. So we're keeping like in touch with what has happened, but our main focus is moving forward. So that's where our energy needs to go, is in the moving forward part of this. So just understand. Get rid of that word. We don't need it. It serves no useful purpose. And I guarantee you, I'm going to probably say that word 50 times today now, but I'm going to, in every one of those, I'm going to be like, dang it. But that's sometimes what we have to go through to change thought processes. Instead of should, put could, would. What else rhymes with should? Would, could. That's it. That's all the words. So try using those. I will do this. I have learned, and I will take that going forward. But don't let anyone tell you what you should do. That's yours. That you own that. Yeah, and don't do that to yourself. Because that energy is wasted. So I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you enjoy it, and if not, I hope you're learning, and I hope you're growing, and I hope upon hope that you're fighting. So keep that up, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Take care.